function of type, where is named the related function. If a is different than 0, then f is named a first-grade function with coefficients a and b. For the first-grade function ax, a is called the first-grade term and b is called the free term of the function. If a is different than 0 and b is equal to 0, then and f is a linear function. If a is equal to 0, then and f is called a constant function. The related function is well determined if we know the coefficients a and b are real numbers. Let's analyze each case separately. The first-grade function. If and we write the ratio named the rate of increase or decrease of function f. In our case, 4, we get, and after substituting in, we get theorem. The first-grade function where and is strictly ascending if a is larger than 0, strictly descending if a is smaller than 0. The monotony intervals are seen in the variation chart of the function. When a is larger than 0, the function where is strictly ascending. When a is smaller than 0, the function where is strictly descending. The sign of the first-grade function. The determination of the first-grade function sign means determining the values for which and the values for which. Theorem. The first-grade function where and has a sign contrary to a for any real number and has the same sign as a for any real number. The graphic of the first-grade function is the multitude which contains the infinity of pairs where the geometrical representation of the graphic in the orthogonal system of axes x or y is a straight line which contains an infinity of points with the coordinates where the straight lines intersect the OX axis in the point and the OY axis in the point. The function where is a particular case of the first-grade function. Therefore, all the properties of the first-grade function also apply to the linear function. We see that the graphic of the linear function is a line which includes the origins of the axis of the coordinate system x or y because the function where is a particular case of the related function and is represented through a line parallel to the OX axis, and in the b equals 0 case is the OX axis. Let's solve the next problem together. The distance that two cars traveled depending on the time is represented in the chart below. They have the constant speed of 20 km an hour and 60 km an hour respectively. The second one left 4 hours after the first. The first has a 4-hour advance. How many hours after the departure of the first car will they meet? To solve the problem, we need to remember the relation between the speed, time and distance, which is, we write the distance traveled by the first car in the time t and the distance traveled by the second car e in the time where at the time of the meeting the cars will have traveled the same distance d. We note x as the time which passed from the departure of the first car to the meeting with the second one. We get, which gives the equation with the solution x equals 6. We see that after 6 hours of travel, the first car has traveled 120 kilometers and the second car has also traveled the same distance, and therefore the two cars will meet. Here is an example from economy which uses the properties of the function where a, b are real numbers and different than 0. Profit earned by a firm is defined as the difference between the total revenue, total value obtained from sales or other sources, and total costs, fixed and variable. The value for which total income is equal to total cost is called the profitability threshold or a break-even point. The costs of a company are of two kinds. Fixed or indirect costs are costs that do not depend on the volume of production or revenue, remaining the same regardless of whether a piece or 1,000 pieces of the product are made. This includes administrative expenses, electricity, heat, salaries of indirect productive staff, and so on. Variable costs or direct, those that are proportional to the quantities produced, tending to be relatively constant for each unit of the product, being called variables because their total depends on the number of items produced. This includes raw materials, wages of directly productive workers, and so on. By summing the fixed and variable costs, the total costs necessary to achieve a certain level of production are obtained. The objective of a company is to set a price that at least covers these costs. In the chart below, the point where the two lines intersect represents a profitability threshold, and the portion of the plan between the total revenue line and the line of the total cost, where the slope of the income line is higher than the slope of the expenses line, represents the profit area.